I now recognize Mr. Banks for 5 minutes.
Thank you. General Milley, why is it important for the military to be non-political?
I think an apolitical military is critical to the health of this republic.
General, why did you spend, you've already established yesterday and today, you spent a significant amount of time talking to political book authors and political reporters, including Bob Woodward. What compelled you to do that?
I believe that part of my job is to communicate to the media what we do as a government, what we do as a military, to explain to the people. And so I do interviews regularly with print media, books, documentaries, videos on TV, TV interviews. I think it's part of a senior official's job to be transparent, and I believe in a free press.
What happens when a military general becomes a political figure? You would agree that's dangerous?
I think it's dangerous, and I have done my best to remain personally apolitical and to try to keep the military out of actual domestic politics. And I made a point of that from the time I became the chairman, and especially beginning last summer.
You told us, you told the Senate yesterday you hadn't read the book or any of the other political books that have come out, but I don't know how anybody could read the Bob Woodward book. I don't know how you could read it and not be greatly embarrassed about its contents, especially in how it's related to you. Are you embarrassed by the book?
I haven't read the book yet.
Are you embarrassed by the portrayals of the book? No doubt you're aware of them.
Embarrassed, no. I'm concerned that there's mischaracterizations of me becoming very politicized as an individual, and that it's my willingness to become politicized, which is not true. I am trying to stay apolitical, and I believe I am. That's part of my professional ethic, and I'm trying to keep the military, the actual military, out of actual domestic politics. I think that's critical.
Do you regret speaking with Bob Woodward?
No, I think that it's important for me to speak to the media.
I want to talk about some of the contents of the book. Since you haven't read it, maybe I can read some of it to you. We've already heard a little bit about the back and forth with you and Speaker Pelosi. But in that conversation, you said in a phone call with Speaker Pelosi, she said, quote, "Republicans are enablers of President Trump's behavior. You know he's crazy. He's been crazy for a long time." You replied, "I agree with you on everything." That was repeated 3 times in the prologue of the book Peril, that you told Speaker Pelosi that you agree with her on everything. Is that an accurate portrayal of your recounting to Bob Woodward about those conversations?
Not exactly, no. I think that,
So
in fact, I know what
Bob Woodward wrong? Is
fact,
that portrayal wrong?
In fact, I know what I said, which was, Madam Speaker, I am not qualified to determine the mental health or assess the mental health of this president or any president.
Did you tell the Speaker that you agreed with her on everything?
And what I was referring to when I said that was I agree that we need to have the processes and procedures in place to make sure that we don't have an accidental or illegal or unauthorized use of nuclear weapons. And I do agree with that. And we do have those procedures.
You said you agreed with her. According to Bob Woodward,
I'm not agreeing with her.
Bob Woodward is right or you're right.
I am not agreeing with her assessment of the president, nor
the book also goes on in talking about the January 6th riot. It says that you told Bob Woodward that you wrote in a list in your notebook of groups that you personally believe were responsible for the attack and that you associated with it. Quote, and you called these groups, quote, domestic terrorist or this domestic terrorism. That list included in your notebook, according to Bob Woodward and from your conversations with him, Nazis and Oath Keepers, but it also included 2 conservative media outlets that you listed in your notebook, including the Epoch Times, which, by the way, is a news outlet that was founded by critics of the Chinese Communist Party, and Newsmax, which is the second most watched conservative media outlet in the country today. Do your notes about January 6th reference both Epoch Times and Newsmax as on a list of domestic terrorists?
I'm not recalling this conversation at all.
It's in the book.
It may be in the book. I haven't read the book. I'm not recalling a conversation about Newsmax, Epoch Times.
Do you have a notebook that lists Newsmax and Epoch Times as domestic terrorists as recounted by the Bob Woodward book Peril? Or is Bob Woodward lying to us in the book?
I don't know. I don't recall any conversation about Epoch Times.
Do you believe that Newsmax and Epoch Times are domestic terrorists or their viewers or readers are domestic terrorists?
No, not at all. I don't think Epoch Times nor Newsmax are domestic terrorist organizations.
Will you produce your notes to this committee?
I'll produce any
that
notes
you relayed to Bob Woodward in the book that you listed different groups that are responsible for January 6th?
Sure. Absolutely.
I yield back.
Gentleman's time has expired. I will just note for the record that I was quoted in that book as well, and a lot of what I said was conflated and not 100% accurately portrayed. It does happen. Just because someone says something doesn't mean that it is an accurate portrayal and doesn't even mean they're lying. It could be a misunderstanding about what was actually said.